The African sun burned overhead as Dr. Patricia Webb wiped sweat from her forehead. She crouched behind a cluster of acacia trees, her binoculars focused on a honey badger digging near a termite mound. This one had a distinctive scar across his snout. She called him Brutus in her field notes. Patricia had spent 3 years studying these animals. Most people thought they were just aggressive little beasts. She knew better. They were survivors, built by millions of years of evolution to never give up and never back down. Her radio crackled. "Dr. Webb, you need to see this." The voice belonged to David, her research assistant back at camp. "Kind of busy here, David. Turn on your satellite phone. Every news channel. Now." Something in his tone made her stomach drop. She pulled out the device and switched it on. The screen filled with an image that made no sense. A massive ship hung in the sky above New York City. Not a plane, not a helicopter, something that belonged in science fiction movies. What am I looking at? They appeared 2 hours ago. 12 ships, one over every major continent. They're talking to us. Patricia felt her hands shaking. First contact. Humanity had always wondered. Now they knew. The screen changed. A figure appeared, tall and thin, with skin that shimmered like oil on water. For eyes arranged in a diamond pattern on its face. When it spoke, the words came through translated somehow. "People of Earth, I am Ambassador Quill of the Sarthen Empire, representing the Galactic Tribunal. Your species has reached the threshold of space travel. Before you can join our civilization, you must prove yourselves worthy." Patricia watched as the ambassador raised one elongated hand. Behind him, something moved in a containment field. Something huge and wrong. "Every species faces the trial. We have created the Ravager, an apex predator engineered from the deadliest genetic material in the known galaxy. It thinks only of the hunt. It knows only violence. Your species must face it and survive. If you fail, Earth will remain quarantined for another 1,000 years. If you succeed, you join us among the stars." The screen showed images of the creature. It stood 12 feet tall on 6 powerful legs. Armored plates covered its body. Multiple eyes scanned in all directions. Its jaw could unhinge like a snake, revealing rows of crystalline teeth. Spines along its back dripped with venom. Your military forces must not interfere. This is not a test of your weapons. This is a test of your spirit, your will to survive as a species. The Ravager will be released in a remote location. If it reaches a population center, you fail. If it kills more than 100 of your kind, you fail. If you destroy it with artificial weapons, you fail. Survive by any means nature has given you, and you pass. The transmission ended. Patricia stared at the blank screen. Her mind raced through possibilities. How could anyone stop something like that without weapons? The whole test seemed designed to fail. Her radio exploded with chatter. Every government on Earth was freaking out. Military forces were mobilizing. Scientists argued about interpretations of the rules. Religious leaders called it Judgment Day. She looked back through her binoculars. Brutus had stopped digging. He sat perfectly still, nose lifted to the wind. His body language had changed. Patricia had seen this before. He sensed something. The sky above the savannah began to shimmer. "No," Patricia whispered. "Not here." A beam of light shot down from the clouds. Where it touched the ground, the air itself seemed to tear open. The Ravager emerged from nothing, stepping into Earth's gravity like it owned the place that IT was worse in person. The pictures had not captured the way it moved, fluid and terrible. Each step shook the ground. Its hide reflected the sunlight in nauseating patterns. The smell hit her even from a distance, something chemical and wrong that made her want to run. The creature lifted its massive head. Dozens of eyes focused on different directions simultaneously. It was scanning, hunting, searching for prey. Then it stopped. Every eye rotated forward. It had found something. Patricia swung her binoculars. Her heart nearly stopped. Brutus stood on top of the termite mound, 30 pounds of muscle and attitude. He stared directly at the Ravager. He did not run. He did not hide. He made a sound Patricia had only heard twice before, a deep, rattling growl that came from somewhere ancient in his chest. The Ravager's head tilted. Its computer-engineered brain tried to process what it saw. This tiny creature should flee. All prey fled. Brutus took a step forward. High above, in the tribunal's observation ship, alarms began to sound. Ambassador Quill leaned forward in his seat. What is that animal? A technician brought up Earth's biological database. Classification Mellivora capensis. Common name, honey badger. Small carnivore. Status, least concern. Why is it not running? The technician scrolled through data, his face showing confusion. Ambassador, according to these files, they do not run. Ever. They are listed as one of Earth's most fearless species. Quill watched the screen. The Ravager began moving toward the small animal. This would be over in seconds. Patricia dropped her binoculars and started running. She did not know what she could do. She only knew she had to try Dot on the termite mound. Brutus waited. His entire species had survived millions of years by never backing down. Today would be no different. The Ravager charged. The Ravager covered the distance in 3 seconds. Its 6 legs propelled it forward with terrifying speed. Every muscle in its body had been designed for this moment, for the kill. Brutus did not move. The creature's claws came down like hammers. They hit empty air. The honey badger had twisted sideways at the last possible instant, his loose skin sliding over muscle and bone. The Ravager's strike would have crushed a skull, would have ended any normal animal. Brutus rolled with the impact and came up biting. His teeth found the joint where the Ravager's front leg connected to its body. He bit down with nearly 200 pounds of force and held on. The creature screamed, a sound that registered on frequencies human ears could not hear. It shook its leg violently, trying to dislodge the small animal. Brutus held tighter. Patricia reached the edge of the clearing, gasping for breath. She watched in horror and amazement as 30 pounds of fury refused to let go of something 40 times its size. The Ravager slammed its leg against the ground repeatedly. Each impact should have broken bones. Brutus's loose hide absorbed the shock, his skeleton moving independently beneath the skin. This was the adaptation that had let his species survive cobra strikes and leopard bites. Nothing could get a solid grip on him. Finally, Brutus released. He dropped to the ground and immediately went for another target. The Ravager's back leg. Another joint. Another bite. Blood that glowed faintly blue leaked from the wounds on the observation ship. Chaos had broken out. Technicians shouted numbers and statistics. The Ravager's vital signs showed stress. Impossible stress. No creature this small should cause such damage. Ambassador Quill watched the screens in disbelief. Deploy the combat analysis. Graphics appeared over the live feed. Bite force measurements. Reaction times. Damage assessments. The numbers made no sense. The creature is bitten through the Ravager's armored plating in 3 locations, a technician reported. Its jaw strength is disproportionate to its body mass. What about pain response? Quill demanded. The Ravager's venom spines have punctured it multiple times. The small animal shows no signs of distress. Checking Earth database. The technician went pale. Ambassador, honey badgers have a high resistance to venom. They have been documented surviving snake bites that would kill animals 10 times their size. Quill felt something he had not experienced in decades. Doubt. Below, the Ravager tried a different tactic. It rolled, attempting to crush Brutus beneath its bulk. The honey badger released his grip and dove into a burrow he had dug earlier that week. The Ravager's face slammed into the entrance, too large to follow. Brutus emerged from a different hole 15 feet away. He charged immediately, going for the creature's haunches. Patricia had seen honey badgers fight before. They battled cobras, jackals, even young lions. They fought with a single strategy, relentless offense. No defense, no retreat, just continuous attack until the enemy gave up or died. Brutus climbed onto the Ravager's back using the creature's own armor plates as handholds. He bit at the base of the venom spines, trying to break them off. The Ravager bucked and twisted, but could not reach its own back. Its body had been designed to fight things in front of it, not something clinging to its spine. The creature threw itself backwards, slamming down hard. Brutus should have been crushed. Instead, he used the moment of impact to bite down on the Ravager's neural spine, the thick cable of nerves that ran down its back. The Ravager's scream, this time registered on human frequencies. Patricia covered her ears. Around the world, people watched satellite feeds in stunned silence. The bioengineered predator staggered forward. Its back legs were not responding correctly. Brutus had damaged something critical. The honey badger dropped off and circled, looking for another opening. Blood covered both animals now. Brutus was hurt. Multiple venom spines had pierced his hide. His right front paw was torn, but his eyes showed no fear, no hesitation. Only the simple determination his species had carried for millions of years. The Ravager tried to retreat. It backed away slowly, reassessing. It had fought on 20 planets. It had killed creatures twice its size. Nothing had ever hurt it like this. Its genetic programming struggled with a new concept. Uncertainty. Brutus followed. Step for step. His message was clear. This was his territory. The Ravager was not welcome. Ambassador Quill stood from his chair. This is impossible. The Ravager is the perfect predator. We took genetic material from 50 species across the galaxy. We enhanced it with technology. How is one small animal doing this? His chief scientist pulled up more data. Ambassador, this planet. Look at the environmental history. The screen filled with information. Mass extinctions, ice ages, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, temperature swings, radiation exposure. Earth had tried to kill its own life dozens of times. The species that survived had to be adaptable, tough, and above all, too stubborn to die. The honey badger evolved in this chaos. The scientist continued. It survived because it refuses to quit. That is its only strategy. Quill watched Brutus circle the wounded Ravager. We engineered our predator in controlled environments. Perfect conditions. Calculated variables. Yes, Ambassador. We created something that thrives in perfection. Earth created something that thrives in hell. Patricia slowly approached, staying low. She could see Brutus was exhausted. Blood matted his fur. He limped on 3 legs now. But he kept moving, kept threatening, kept fighting. The Ravager made one last attempt. It lunged forward with its jaws open wide, trying to end this with a single bite. Brutus dove between its legs, twisting in that impossible way, and bit down on the soft tissue of its underbelly. The creature's legs buckled. Patricia held her breath. The Ravager collapsed onto its side, breathing hard. Its multiple eyes rotated, looking for escape routes. Finding none, its enhanced nervous system flooded with pain signals. Its perfect design had not accounted for an enemy that inflicted pain and ignored its own. Brutus released his grip. He stood over the fallen creature, making that deep, rattling sound again. A warning, a promise, a statement of fact. Ambassador Quill reached for the emergency recall button, his hand trembling. The recall beam hit the Ravager like a cage made of light. The creature vanished in a flash of displaced air, pulled back to the observation ship. Brutus lunged at the empty space where his enemy had been, confused by its disappearance. Patricia ran forward, pulling a medical kit from her belt. Easy, boy. Easy. Brutus spun toward her, teeth bared. His instincts screamed danger. But he knew this human. She had been around his territory for years, never threatening, never competing for food. He allowed her to approach. She worked quickly, cleaning wounds and applying antiseptic. The venom punctures looked bad, but Brutus had survived worse. His metabolism was already breaking down the toxins. In a few days, he would be fine. Around the world, humanity erupted. Every screen showed footage of the fight. Social media exploded. News anchors struggled to find words. Scientists demanded access to the site. Military forces argued about response protocols. Patricia's satellite phone rang continuously. She ignored it. Above Earth's atmosphere, Ambassador Quill stood in the medical bay watching veterinarians work on the Ravager. The creature lay sedated, its wounds being treated. Nothing vital had been damaged, but the psychological trauma was evident. The perfect predator had learned fear. Explain this to me. Quill demanded of his chief scientist. We tested the Ravager on 40 planets. It has a 97% success rate. How did one animal stop it? The scientist pulled up biological data on a holographic screen. The honey badger employs several strategies that our simulations did not predict. First, its skin is extraordinarily loose and tough. Our analysis shows it can withstand multiple types of attacks that would kill similar-sized creatures. Second, its pain tolerance is beyond normal parameters. It continues fighting through injuries that should incapacitate it. That cannot be the entire explanation. No, ambassador. The critical factor is psychological. The honey badger does not have a retreat instinct. Our genetic models assumed all prey animals would flee when outmatched. This creature attacks when threatened, regardless of the opponent's size or strength. The Ravager was designed to fight prey that runs. It has no protocols for prey that fights back with equal aggression. Quill stared at the unconscious Ravager. We failed. No, ambassador. Humanity passed. The rules stated they must survive by means nature has given them. This animal is a product of their planet's natural evolution. But we did not defeat humanity. We defeated ourselves with poor assumptions. The scientist nodded slowly. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world. Only 3% of known planets rank that high. We sent our predator to a place where even the small animals are dangerous. We made a mistake. Patricia finished bandaging Brutus and sat back. The honey badger shook himself, scattering blood droplets. He looked at her once, then walked away toward his den. No gratitud. No acknowledgement. Just a wild animal going about its business. Her phone finally stopped ringing. When she checked it, she had 200 missed calls. A video message was waiting from the President of the United States. Dr. Webb, this is urgent. The aliens want to speak with you specifically. They are sending a shuttle to your location. Patricia looked at the sky. A small craft was already descending, moving silently through the clouds. It landed 50 yards away, disturbing dust and grass. A ramp extended. She had no weapon, no backup, no plan. She walked toward the ship anyway. The interior was unlike anything she had imagined. Curved surfaces that seemed alive. Light that came from nowhere. Ambassador Quill waited in the center chamber, his 4 eyes watching her carefully. Dr. Patricia Webb, you study these creatures? Yes, for 3 years. Tell me about them. Patricia took a breath. Honey badgers are survivors. They live in environments with lions, hyenas, leopards, venomous snakes, and hostile weather. They succeed because they refuse to be intimidated. When threatened, they attack. When hurt, they fight harder. When cornered, they become absolutely vicious. This is evolutionary adaptation. Yes, millions of years of development. Their hide protects them. Their aggression surprises predators. Their pain tolerance lets them win fights they should lose. Quill walked to a viewing screen showing footage of the battle. We created the Ravager using the best science in the galaxy. We gave it every advantage. Your honey badger evolved by accident, by random chance and survival pressure. Yet your accident defeated our design. Nature does not design for perfection, Patricia said. Nature designs for survival under the worst possible conditions. Earth has terrible conditions. We are beginning to understand this. Quill turned to face her. Your planet has survived 5 major extinction events. The species that remain are the ones too stubborn to die. That is one way to look at it. How do you look at it? Patricia thought about Brutus walking away, unconcerned with the historic moment he had just created. We live on a planet that tries to kill us regularly. Earthquakes, storms, volcanoes, ice ages. We share space with creatures that have venom, teeth, claws, and strength beyond our own. We survive by being smart, adaptable, and too determined to quit. The honey badger is not special on Earth. He is normal. Quill's eyes widened. All 4 of them. Normal. You want to know what makes Earth dangerous? It is not our weapons or our technology. It is that we evolved alongside creatures like Brutus. We learned to respect nature because nature can kill us. We learned to adapt because adaptation is the only option. We learned to never give up because giving up means extinction. The ambassador was silent for a long moment. Then he touched a control panel. Another screen appeared, showing Earth from orbit. The Galactic Tribunal sent me to test your species. We test every civilization that reaches space. Most fail. Those that pass usually do so by avoiding the Ravager or by luck. You're the first planet where the local wildlife defeated our predator in direct combat. What does that mean for us? It means the Tribunal is terrified. Quill made a gesture that might have been laughter. We have rules for species that develop advanced weapons. We have protocols for aggressive civilizations. We have no protocols for a planet where even the small animals refuse to surrender. Patricia felt a chill. Are you going to quarantine us? No, Dr. Webb. We are going to do something unprecedented. We're going to grant humanity immediate full membership in the Galactic Council. With restrictions. What kind of restrictions? Earth's wildlife will be classified as restricted exports. No species native to your planet can be removed without approval. Your animals are too dangerous for the rest of the galaxy. Patricia almost laughed. She thought of Brutus, probably eating grubs right now, completely unaware that he had just made humanity famous across the stars. 3 weeks later, Patricia stood in a conference room at the United Nations. She had been to New York twice before in her life. Now, she practically lived here. The world's governments wanted her expertise on everything from alien biology to Earth's ecosystem, but a holographic projector showed Ambassador Quill's image at the head of the table. Representatives from 60 nations watched and listened. The Tribunal has reviewed Earth's biological database, Quill said. We need clarification on several species. Go ahead, Patricia replied. Mantis shrimp. These creatures can punch with the force of a bullet. Yes, their strike creates cavitation bubbles that generate heat and light. They can break aquarium glass. Silence from the alien side. Then, and they are common, you can find them in tropical waters worldwide. More silence. Patricia was getting used to this. Every time she explained another Earth creature, the aliens had the same reaction. Disbelief followed by horror. Tardigrades, Quill continued. These microscopic animals can survive in the vacuum of space. Correct. They can also withstand extreme radiation, pressure, and temperature. They essentially shut down all biological processes and wait for better conditions. How long can they wait? We have revived specimens that were frozen for over 30 years. The representatives from the Tribunal's Science Division began arguing in their own language. Patricia caught fragments through the translator. Impossible, evolutionary dead end, death world classification. Moving on, Quill said, his voice strained. Orcus. You call them killer whales. They hunt in packs using coordinated tactics and teach their young different hunting strategies based on regional prey. Yes, they are highly intelligent. Some pods specialize in hunting seals, others focus on fish, some even attack larger whales. They pass knowledge between generations. And humans swim with these creatures recreationally? Patricia smiled. Some people do. Orcus rarely attack humans in the wild. Dr. Webb, Orcus are apex predators with sophisticated hunting strategies and social structures. Your people swim with them for fun. We respect them. We study them. Some cultures consider them sacred. We recognize their intelligence and try to coexist peacefully. Quill made a gesture that the translator could not interpret. Patricia guessed it was exasperation. Octopi, the ambassador continued. They can change color, squeeze through tiny spaces, use tools, and solve complex puzzles. Their intelligence evolved completely independently from vertebrate intelligence. Yes, they are remarkable creatures. Dr. Webb, do you understand what you're describing? You are telling us that your planet has multiple examples of convergent evolution producing intelligence. Not just human intelligence, but various types of problem-solving ability spread across different species. Patricia had not thought about it that way. I suppose that is accurate. This is not normal. Quill's voice rose slightly. Most planets have one intelligent species. Maybe two if conditions are exceptional. Earth has dozens of species showing advanced cognitive abilities. Dolphins, crows, elephants, parrots. Even some of your primates use tools and have basic language. A representative from Japan spoke up. Ambassador, is this a problem? It is a revelation, Quill answered. We have studied thousands of planets. Earth is unique. Your evolutionary pressure created not just survivors, but thinkers. Your world demanded both physical toughness and mental flexibility. Patricia leaned forward. What exactly are you trying to understand? We are trying to understand humanity, Quill said simply. You evolve on a planet that tries to kill everything living on it. You share that planet with creatures that are individually stronger, faster, more venomous, or more aggressive than you. Yet you survived. You thrived. You became the dominant species. How? Intelligence, Patricia said. We could not outrun predators, so we learned to outwit them. We could not survive extreme weather with just our bodies, so we created tools and shelters. We could not fight every dangerous animal, so we learned to avoid them or, in some cases, domesticate them. You domesticated wolves, Quill said. Apex predators. You turned them into companions. Dogs have been humanity's partners for over 30,000 years. You befriended predators instead of eliminating them. Patricia thought about her years in the field. We learned that everything has a role in the ecosystem. Remove the predators and the prey animals overpopulate. Remove the prey and the predators starve. We survive by understanding the balance, not by breaking it. The room fell quiet. On the holographic display, Quill conferred with other tribunal members. Finally, he spoke again. Dr. Webb, the tribunal wants to send a research team to Earth. We need to study your planet's ecosystem more thoroughly. We need to understand how humanity fits into such a dangerous environment. Where do you want to start? Africa, where the honey badger defeated our ravager. We want to see what else lives there. Patricia felt a mix of pride and concern. Ambassador, Africa has lions, leopards, rhinoceros, hippopotamus, elephants, Cape buffalo, crocodiles, venomous snakes, and about 1,000 other species that can kill you. Are you sure your team is prepared? We survived the honey badger incident. How much worse can it be? Patricia did not answer. She had seen a hippo bite a crocodile in half. She had watched a Cape buffalo gore a lion. She had documented snake species whose venom could drop an elephant. Brutus was tough, but he was not even the most dangerous animal in his own habitat. I will guide your team personally, she said, but you need to follow my instructions exactly. Earth's wildlife does not care that you are from an advanced civilization. Understood. 2 days later, Patricia waited at a landing site in Kenya. The tribunal's research ship descended slowly, its alien technology making no sound. The boarding ramp extended and 6 researchers emerged, their bodies covered in protective gear. Quill followed them out. Dr. Webb, thank you for agreeing to this. You're really coming on the field study yourself. I need to see this world with my own eyes. I need to understand what created humanity. Patricia grabbed her field pack. Then let us start with something simple. There's a watering hole about 2 miles from here. We should reach it by sunset. What will we see there? Patricia smiled. Everything. In Africa, water brings everything together. Prey and predator. Hunter and hunted. Life and death. You want to understand Earth? Watch what happens at the watering hole. They began walking. The alien researchers scanned everything, recording data constantly. They jumped at every sound. When a bird called from a nearby tree, 3 of them drew defensive devices. Relax, Patricia said. That is a starling. Harmless. How do you know it is harmless? One researcher asked. Because I have spent my entire life learning the difference between danger and distraction. On Earth, you need to know the difference to survive. Quill walked beside her, his 4 eyes taking in the landscape. Your species is very young by galactic standards. Most civilizations need millions of years to develop space technology. Humans did it in roughly 200,000 years. Do you know why? Why? Because your planet did not give you a choice. Evolve faster or die. Earth is not just a death world, Dr. Webb. It is a forge. It creates species that are harder, smarter, and more determined than anything we have seen elsewhere. Patricia thought about Brutus, about his refusal to back down. Maybe that is what makes us human. We learned to never quit because quitting meant extinction. And now you bring that lesson to the galaxy, Quill said quietly. I'm not certain whether that terrifies me or gives me hope. The watering hole stretched out before them, reflecting the orange sunset. Patricia held up a hand, signaling the group to stop. They crouched behind a rocky outcrop with a clear view of the water. Why are we hiding? A researcher whispered. Because we are observers, not participants. We watch without interfering. Within minutes, animals began arriving. A herd of zebras approached cautiously, testing the air for predators. Behind them, wildebeest gathered in a nervous cluster. Warthogs trotted to the water's edge, their tails pointed straight up. The alien researchers recorded everything, their instruments humming softly. Quill watched in fascination as the different species drank side by side, maintaining careful distances. They cooperate? He asked. In a way, they all need water. During the day, there is an unofficial truce. At night, the rules change. A loud snort made everyone jump. An elephant emerged from the tree line, its massive form dwarfing everything else. The other animals moved aside without panic, giving the giant space. How much does that creature weigh? A researcher asked. Adult male African elephant? About 6 tons. The researcher checked his scanner. Our defensive equipment would not stop something that size. Nothing stops an angry elephant, Patricia said. That is why we stay out of their way. The elephant drank deeply, spraying water over its back. Young calves followed, mimicking the adult's movements. Quill watched the family group with obvious interest. They show affection, he observed. The adults protect the young. Elephants have strong family bonds. They mourn their dead. They remember individuals for decades. They are extremely intelligent. Another intelligent species on your planet. I told you, Earth has many. A commotion at the far side of the watering hole drew their attention. The zebras scattered suddenly. The wildebeest bolted. Even the warthogs ran, squealing in alarm. What is happening? Quill asked. Patricia pointed. Look at the water. 2 eyes broke the surface. Then more. 5 crocodiles glided toward the shore, their bodies invisible beneath the murky water. The largest was over 16 feet long, a living dinosaur that had remained unchanged for millions of years. Those are reptiles? A researcher asked. Ancient ones. Crocodiles are perfect ambush predators. They can wait motionless for hours. Their bite force is one of the strongest in the animal kingdom. They drag prey underwater to drown it. One crocodile crawled onto the bank, its body revealing the true size. The alien researchers backed away instinctively. We are safe here, Patricia assured them. Crocodiles prefer to hunt in water. Your planet has many apex predators, Quill said. How do they all coexist? They specialize. Crocodiles hunt in water. Lions hunt on land. Leopards hunt in trees and at night. Each predator has evolved to fill a specific role. Competition exists, but so does balance. As if summoned by her words, a pride of lions appeared on the opposite ridge. 7 females and 2 males, their golden coats dark in the fading light. They moved with casual confidence, completely aware of their position in the food chain. The remaining animals at the watering hole froze. This was different from the crocodiles. This was immediate danger. Will they attack? A researcher asked nervously. Probably not. Lions typically hunt at night. Right now, they are likely just thirsty. The pride descended to the water. The crocodiles watched, but did not move. The lions drank quickly, always alert. Their muscles rippled beneath their fur, power barely contained. Quill stood slowly, his eyes fixed on the lions. Those are beautiful creatures, beautiful and deadly. An adult lion can take down a buffalo. They hunt in teams, using strategy and communication. Yet humans have lived alongside these predators for your entire history. Yes, we learned to respect them. Our ancestors developed tools and tactics to survive in the same territory. We studied their behavior. We avoided them when possible. We fought them when necessary. You did not eliminate them. Patricia looked at the ambassador. Why would we? They are part of the world. Removing them would damage the entire ecosystem. Besides, there is value in living with danger. It keeps us sharp. It reminds us that we are not invincible. One of the lions, a large male with a thick black mane, turned his head toward the outcrop. His eyes locked onto the group. He stared for a long moment, evaluating the strange creatures that did not smell like normal prey. The alien researchers froze. Their technology meant nothing to those ancient eyes. The lion saw them as the elephant had seen them, as the crocodiles had seen them. Just more animals in his territory. Finally, the lion looked away. Not worth his energy. He returned to drinking. "We are beneath his notice," Quill said quietly. "Be grateful for that," Patricia replied. As darkness fell, more animals emerged. Hyenas with their eerie calls. Jackals moving in quick, nervous packs. A leopard appeared in a tree above the water, completely silent, watching everything with patient calculation. The alien researchers worked frantically to record it all. This was not like other planets they had studied. This was not a simple ecosystem with clear hierarchies. This was chaos and order existing simultaneously. Dozens of species competing and cooperating in ways that should not work, but somehow did it. A sound from behind made Patricia turn. Brutus emerged from the rocks, walking past the group without acknowledging them. He marched straight toward the watering hole with his characteristic swagger. "That is your honey badger," Quill said. "That is Brutus." They watched as the small animal approached the water's edge. The crocodiles noticed him. The lions noticed him. Every predator at the watering hole turned to look at 30 pounds of attitude walking into their midst. None of them moved toward him. Brutus drank his fill, completely unconcerned with the lions 20 feet away or the crocodiles in the water. When he finished, he walked back the way he came, disappearing into the rocks. They left him alone, a researcher said in disbelief. "They know better," Patricia explained. "Every predator here has learned the same lesson. Attacking a honey badger costs more energy than it provides. He is too much trouble. They would rather hunt easier prey." Quill watched where Brutus had vanished. He has no weapons beyond what nature gave him. No technology. No sophisticated tactics. Just absolute determination. That is enough on Earth. Dr. Webb, I am beginning to understand why the Tribunal fears your planet. You have shown me elephants with the intelligence to love, crocodiles with the patience to wait hours for prey, lions that hunt in coordinated teams, and a honey badger that every predator respects despite his size. This is not a planet. This is a testing ground. Every species here has been pushed to its limits. Patricia nodded. 5 mass extinctions, climate changes, continental shifts. Only the toughest, smartest, most adaptable species survived. What you see here is the result of hundreds of millions of years of brutal selection. And humanity emerged from this crucible. We did. We are neither the strongest nor the fastest. We do not have venom or claws or thick armor, but we have something that let us survive alongside all these other species. What? Patricia looked at the watering hole, at the complex dance of predator and prey, danger and survival. We learn to think 3 steps ahead. We learn to adapt to any environment. We learn to cooperate with each other and sometimes with other species. We learn to never give up, even when everything seemed hopeless. Earth taught us those lessons, or we died. Quill was silent for a long time. Then he spoke softly. The Galactic Council needs to revise its understanding of death worlds. We thought they simply produced tough species. We did not realize they produced species that turned toughness into an art form. 6 months after the Ravager incident, Patricia stood in the Galactic Council chamber. The room curved in ways that hurt to look at directly, architecture designed for species whose eyes worked differently than human eyes. Representatives from 200 civilizations watched her from their designated sections. Ambassador Quill spoke from the central platform. The Tribunal has completed its evaluation of Earth. We present our findings to the Council. Holographic displays materialized around the room. Images of Earth's creatures appeared. The honey badger, elephants, orcas, mantis shrimp, octopi. Each species was accompanied by detailed analysis of its adaptations and survival strategies. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world, Quill continued. Only 6 planets in our records rank this high. What makes Earth unique is not just its danger level, but the diversity of sophisticated survival strategies its species have developed. A representative from the Crystalline Consortium spoke, its voice chiming like bells. Ambassador Quill, you tested humanity with your apex predator. They passed through fortunate circumstance. One animal happened to be in the right place. That is what we thought initially, Quill replied. But our research revealed something more significant. Dr. Webb, please explain. Patricia stepped forward, trying not to show her nervousness. She had addressed world leaders and scientists. Speaking to alien civilizations was somehow more intimidating. The honey badger that defeated the Ravager was not special, she began. He was average for his species. We have documented thousands of honey badgers displaying identical behavior. Extreme aggression, high pain tolerance, and absolute refusal to surrender are standard traits. The Ravager did not lose to an exceptional individual. It lost to a normal Earth animal. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Representatives conferred in dozens of languages. A towering representative from the Brinthal Empire leaned forward. You claim this behavior is typical, not an anomaly? Correct. Earth has dozens of species showing similar determination. Cape buffalo that charge lions instead of fleeing. Wolverines that fight bears over food. Shrews that must eat constantly or die, yet survive in frozen environments. Our planet does not produce cowards. It cannot afford to. Quill activated another display. The tribunal studied Earth's extinction events. 5 times, the planet experienced catastrophic changes that eliminated most life. The species that exist now are descendants of the survivors. They carry genetic memory of those extinctions. They are programmed at a fundamental level to never give up because giving up equals death. What about humanity? Asked a serpentine delegate from the Sessive Collective. You speak of animals. What makes humans different? Patricia smiled. Nothing makes us different. That is the point. We evolved under the same pressure as every other Earth species. We just use different tools. Instead of thick skin, we developed clothing and shelter. Instead of venom, we developed weapons. Instead of solitary strength, we developed cooperation. But the core trait is the same. We refuse to quit. This is why you granted them immediate membership. The Brinthal representative asked Quill. Partially, but there is more. Quill pulled up new data. During our research, we documented human behavior in crisis situations. Natural disasters, accidents, medical emergencies. In every case, humans responded with the same pattern. They assess the danger, adapt their strategy, and push forward regardless of personal risk. This is not trained behavior. This is instinct. Patricia remembered the earthquake in Nepal she had lived through during graduate school. People had dug through rubble with bare hands. Strangers had formed rescue teams spontaneously. Nobody had given up, even when the situation seemed hopeless. The Galactic Council needs to understand what we are accepting, Quill said. Humans are not like most spacefaring species. They did not reach space through gradual, peaceful development. They reached space while simultaneously fighting wars, surviving diseases, and adapting to climate changes. They're comfortable with chaos because chaos is their natural state. A small, floating representative spoke with a translated voice. This sounds like a warning, Ambassador Quill. It is an observation. Humanity will be valuable allies. They think differently than we do. They solve problems through methods we would not consider. But they will also challenge our assumptions and push boundaries. The crystalline representative chimed again. What about their animals? You recommended restrictions. Earth's wildlife is too dangerous for general export, Quill confirmed. We have documented 15 species that could disrupt stable ecosystems on other planets. The honey badger is just one example. Earth's insects alone could cause ecological collapse in unprepared environments. We recommend a quarantine on biological exports until proper safety protocols are established. Patricia felt a strange mix of pride and concern. Earth's creatures were being recognized as weapons. Dr. Webb, the Brinthal representative, said, "You will serve as Earth's representative for wildlife conservation efforts?" "Yes." I have been appointed to that position. Good. Perhaps you can explain why humans protect these dangerous creatures instead of eliminating them. Patricia had answered this question dozens of times now. Because they are part of our world. They shaped our evolution. They taught us to be smart, careful, and respectful. Without predators, we would never have developed tools. Without dangerous animals, we would never have learned cooperation. We protect them because they made us who we are. The chamber fell silent. Patricia could see representatives processing this concept. Most civilizations eliminated their predators as soon as they developed the technology. Earth had kept theirs deliberately. We'll step forward again. The tribunal's recommendation is clear. Grant humanity full membership with standard trade restrictions and biological export quarantine. They have proven their worth. Now, we must learn from them. The vote took less than 5 minutes. The council accepted humanity overwhelmingly. Patricia returned to Earth 3 days later. She landed in Kenya and immediately drove to the research site. Brutus was exactly where she expected him to be, digging near his favorite termite mound. She sat on a rock and watched him work. He ignored her completely, focused on his excavation. After everything that had happened, after humanity had joined the galactic community, after Earth's animals had been classified as restricted species, Brutus just kept living his life. You have no idea what you started, she said to him as he looked up briefly, assessed that she was not a threat or food source, and returned to digging. Patricia laughed. That was the perfect response. Brutus did not care about galactic politics or humanity's future. He cared about finding food, defending his territory, and surviving another day. The same things his ancestors had cared about for millions of years. Her satellite phone buzzed. A message from Ambassador Quill. Dr. Webb, we have a situation. 3 council members want to visit Earth personally. They wish to see a honey badger in the wild. Can you arrange this? Patricia typed her response. Yes, but they need to follow my safety protocols exactly. Earth does not make exceptions for visitors. The reply came instantly. They understand. That is why they want to come. They want to see the world that created humanity. Patricia looked at Brutus, still digging, still fighting his small daily battles against a planet that never stopped challenging him. She thought about the Ravager, engineered for perfection, defeated by simple determination. She thought about humanity, weak by physical standards, thriving through stubbornness and adaptation. Earth had taught its children well. Never quit, never surrender, survive by any means necessary. Those lessons had carried humanity to the stars, and now the galaxy would learn those same lessons. Brutus finished his dig and trotted away, ready for whatever came next. Patricia watched him disappear into the grass. Somewhere in orbit, alien ships monitored the planet. Somewhere in distant systems, civilizations debated humanity's potential. But here, in the African savanna, life continued as it always had. Predator and prey, danger and survival. The endless dance that had forged the toughest species in the known galaxy. Patricia stood and shouldered her pack. She had reports to write and alien diplomats to prepare for their visit. But first, she had work to do. She was a wildlife researcher. That had not changed. Earth's creatures still needed protection and study. The galaxy had discovered humanity through a honey badger's stubbornness. Now, they would learn about Earth through its people. Patricia smiled at the thought. The galaxy was not ready. But Earth had never been ready for anything. It had learned to adapt anyway. That was the human way. That was the Earth way that IT was going to be interesting.